Welcome back, guys, to our opposition preview. We're here. Big game coming up tomorrow, guys. Inter versus Arsenal in the Champions League. We got away San Siro, and I got a very special guest. We got Anthony from Inter Worldwide, all the way over there in Sydney. Anthony, bro, how's it going, man?
It's going well, bro. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you having me on your channel and very excited for this fixture, man. I've got a very fond memory in the back of my head that I can't wait to speak about from, geez, what feels like 18, 19 years ago now. But yeah, this is
Yeah.
going to be a historic match because our two sides have not played each other for what I just said a long time. So I'm looking forward to talking to you about it.
Yeah, for sure. And guys, his channel link will be in the title. Very easy to do. You click the blue at tissue, right to the channel. Make sure you guys going over there, dropping the sub. I mean, look at the merch he's got on right there, man. That is absolutely class. The shirt he has right there, guys. So make sure you check out his channel, people, as well. But yeah, I want to obviously talk about, just before we do start, a bit of introduction in yourself, really, and obviously a little bit about your season as well in terms of Inter. But only like, obviously, how many years you've been supporting Inter, and what obviously got made you fall in love with such a really big club.
So thanks for the question, man. So being in Australia, Sydney, Australia, you sort of like the roots that you have to football go two ways. How football is portrayed in the media and the network towards you, and do you have family ties or cultural ties? So I was lucky enough to have, a little bit of both, but still football only really came in the form of the English Premier League when I was growing up. However, when I was getting into football as about 6 years old, 7 years old, it would have been about 1998, 1999. Christian Vieri was playing for Inter at the time. My father actually played indoor cricket with Christian Vieri when he was younger in Sydney. So if people don't know, the famous striker for Italy and mostly for his career Inter, but he played everywhere, to be honest. Christian Vieri, he was actually born and raised in Southwest Sydney, where I was born and raised. And he then flew over to start his training overseas and was quickly picked up by Serie A clubs, Serie B clubs eventually, first of all, but then Serie A. So when it was coming time to follow a team in the Italian league, and I started to get into it, my dad was pretty adamant that it was only going to be Inter, and he was a big fan of Roberto Baggio at the time, who was also just about to sign for Inter right in that turn of the millennium period. So then combined with the fact that, possibly bar his injuries, the one true technical GOAT pictured behind me also played the majority of his career at the club, and we loved him dearly as well. So those reasons combined made me an Interista.
Ah, nice one, man. Obviously, in terms of Inter this season, and also going back off last season, you guys dominated. I thought, winning this Serie A very comfortably, very deserved as well. Obviously, this season you're still in and amongst it, man. It's been obviously Napoli are doing really well. Top of the league with Conte. I know they got battered the other day with Atalanta, but it's still between you guys, Napoli, Atalanta, I mean Juventus, maybe, sort of very, very close, so far in this title race. But what's obviously been, what's your initial thoughts on last season winning that title, and also how do you think it's going so far this season for Inter?
Number 20, Seconda Stella, the second star, was a milestone for the club. It was everything for us, and it took a huge weight off our shoulders. We're still growing into this season. We've got growing pains. We've got hangovers from that because winning that title was huge. It was bigger than 19, which is on this side of me here. It was way bigger. That one was, we had to break the cycle, and we had Antonio Conte. We had the best squad. Juventus was aging. They were fading. We didn't have a challenger. It was mandatory that we won that league. But to win it now, the second star with Simone Inzaghi at the helm, with all of his ideas that have come into fruition, and our squad has never looked healthier and more motivated coming into this season. Obviously, we couldn't be happier as fans. We're a very spoiled bunch. Inter, we're a pessimistic bunch in terms of our fans. We love to complain, And if you're in the depths of the Inter forums and the chats and the fans, if you were to look at it from, from a blind eye's point of view, you'd think that we were awful. You'd think that we were having a horrible time. But we set the bar that high for a reason. We like to win league titles. We like to win trophies. And under Simone Inzaghi, he's won 2 Coppa Italia, 3 Super Coppa Italias, and 1 Scudetto now, and a Champions League final. That's an impressive CV for, 3 seasons at the club, 3.5 seasons at the club. We're happy with the boss. We're happy with the players. Everything's going well from a fundamental point of view. This season, we're slow to start. We're sluggish, but we're -1 from Napoli with a head-to-head fixture against Napoli at the San Siro 3 days after we play Arsenal. It's a big 6 days for us. It's a big 6 days altogether. If we can come out of this with 4 points or 6, it would be incredible. But we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. Like looking as sort of an insider into Inter, your manager in Inzaghi, I think absolutely quality manager. Obviously you just said how successful he's been, the trophies that he's won with Inter. I really love his style of play, really love his philosophy. Sorry, I really love, the way how he plays his own brand of football, and it's unique to him, of course. And he's been very successful with you guys. I think he obviously got you to that Champions League final as well. Is that for you, like, for you to sit? Because obviously I know you must rate the guy so highly for what he's done with you guys, but for you to sit there and say he's like one of the elite managers in the world, is it getting that? And is that like the big thing for Inter now? Is getting that Champions League trophy over the line with him?
Not necessarily, because we're not necessarily a club or a fan base that expects to win the Champions League. I don't know what the perception of Inter is in the English world or anywhere else. Sometimes I have spoken to English fans as well. Some of the English content creators have got a very funny opinion of what goes on in Serie A and Italy. I will say the media very much so over-sensationalizes the idea of certain players and transfers going to the league as well. But that's a conversation for later or another time. I think that with Inter, our priority is just to make sure that our finances are in check at the moment and that we can maintain a winning squad throughout a very bad economic period for what has been for us for a good, well, basically since Antonio Conte left. So for anybody watching on your channel that doesn't know, we basically won the title 4 seasons ago. And straight away, our manager, our assistant manager, the whole training staff, Lukaku and Hakimi had to leave. And we've basically been on a rebuilding process with our core still remaining there and Simone Inzaghi. Simone Inzaghi's tactical side of things, it didn't take long for his philosophy to sit in because it was a good transition. He'd been applying and playing a successful 3-5-2 with Lazio. Players like Milinkovic-Savic replicating the role that Marcelo Brozovic would just play for him, and a very strong use of his wingbacks from Lazzari at Lazio to Denzel Dumfries at Inter as well. The parallels are there, even with the forwards of Immobile and Lautaro Martinez. It was an easy transition. To be honest, Inter's success mostly can be attributed to Beppe Marotta. Do you know who Beppe Marotta is, my friend?
Yes, I hear of him before, yes.
Yeah, he's our director. Bold guy, one eye goes in one direction sometimes. He is very intelligent. He is one of the OGs of culture of Italian football. His resume and what he's done in the past with clubs like Sampdoria, getting them to the Champions League, and the way that he helped build Juventus with Conte at the helm and then Allegri for parts and periods after that is very impressive. He was Inter's biggest gain and signing when it happened in about 2018-19. I was over the moon. That's how I knew my club was back on the rise. When they announced that Beppe Marotta was going to be taking over as the sporting director and the most technical director of the club, I thought, well, it's just a matter of time before Inter's right back on the European map once again. And fast forward to now, here we are. As long as he'll be here till 2027. But going back to Inzaghi, we're just happy that he's here enjoying himself because he's happy here. This has always been a dream of his to manage a big Italian club and take them to the top. And I do think the Champions League is the next hurdle for us. So even though we're not obsessing over it because we're not a club that does that, to answer your question, way long story short, that is obviously the next tangible objective because we just got our league title again. It was we were talking about our reverse fixtures back in 2003.
Yes, the 5-1 and the 3-0, bro. You know, I know it was many years ago, but what do you sort of like, you know, remember of those games?
Yeah, I was like 11 years old. I was still in primary school, lower school, and I was on like this overnight, first ever overnight field trip excursion, whatever you want to call it. And I just remember watching it on this little tiny TV, like extended highlights. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is the first time I've really seen Inter on the big European stage properly whoop a huge team, because, you know, Arsenal were the shit back then. That was a real big time for you guys, for us to line up against you guys. But to be honest, we were always a big team, big club back then, and as well, we were always representing in Europe. Obafemi Martins grabbing a goal there. I think Van der Meij grabbed a goal as well. I think Edu might have scored for you guys in the 5-1. Henri was incredible. When we
He
beat
did,
you,
yeah. Edu scored.
yeah. When we beat you 3-0, there's that famous scene of Marco Materazzi and Javier Zanetti arguing over who gets to take Thierry Henry's shirt at full time. I think that's an iconic football image. But overall, those two fixtures are really cool. And it's a massive parallel
Yeah.
that we whooped your ass at Highbury, and then you came to the Miazza and you wiped the floor with us there. That was unbelievable, 5-1. So, yeah, good times, man. What about you? Did you were you alive? I don't even know how old you are, man. Were you alive when you caught that?
I was born in '07, so I'm 17. I was born in '07, so no, I'm not alive, bro. I was not alive.
Nah.
But of course, I did the watch the history, and as you said, very amazing time for Arsenal. That was at our best. One of us, I think that victory is one of Arsene Wenger's greatest, just because going away to you guys, having that statement of 5-1. It was unbelievable, and yeah, as you said, it was at that time as well. We was unbelievable, and you know, it's just a shame as you know, born in '07. I've not yet to see Arsenal win the Premier League title. That was the last time we won the Premier League title. Was in that season, in that year. You know, when we were, of course, invincible. So it's not even like I've even experienced it, and it's been very frustrating. You know, these past couple of seasons, just missing out. You know, to City. But listen, it is what it is, man. Listen, in terms of coming into this game, bro, Champions League night. As for Arsenal, it's like going away in these European away places, because we know what it's going to be like for you. San Siro, hostile atmosphere. You know, Arsenal really struggle when we play away from home. You know, I think even this season we played Atalanta and it was 0-0 draw, and they missed a penalty, and they were probably the better side. It was a bad game, but they're probably the better side, right? Last season, you know, we lost to teams like Lens away. We lost to Porto away. We lost to we drew at PSV, and then we lost them 2-0 in Europa League a few years ago. So it's been a common theme when Arsenal go away to these European places where we struggle big time. And I think it's going to be similar when we go, of course, on Wednesday. But how do you see the game going? And also, in terms of Arsenal, like, what do you really make of them, you know, in terms of, you know, under Arteta as well?
So obviously, like, we're looking to get into the top 8, and this result will cement that. And I think that there's a lot of the players in this team that are really galvanized by the idea of getting to this part of their career. I know what their will is. I know what Lautaro Martinez really wants to do at this point of his career. I know what Barella and Bastoni are looking to achieve as well. More so, this team will look to make a statement and know that we are one of the contenders overall, because we know that we can go toe to toe with anybody in the Premier League. I know that. I know that on our day, we could beat Liverpool, we can beat City, we can beat you guys. As long as we convert our chances, we're as good as anybody. Bar, see, even Madrid this season, I wouldn't say are a sure thing to beat us. I think that on our day, we're in that crop of teams that can beat anybody in Europe. And I don't think there are many teams that are in that crop anymore. So that being said, I think that at the San Siro, we should know that we're going into this game as favorites. I know you guys are Arsenal. You're from the Premier League, you know, the best league in the world, the most marketable league in the world. But at the end of the day, we are still champions. We're champions of Italy, and you're coming to our home ground. It starts and stops there. So we have to be favorites, and we have to condition ourselves as favorites going into this game. 1 point is not a disaster. 3 points is obligatory, though. How are you guys feeling going into this?
Oh, bro. This the way how we've been playing. Obviously, I don't know if you've been seeing our recent results or anything, but our sporting director as well. He left yesterday in Edu. Of course, I'm sure you know him very well. So
Yep.
he's now left. It's kind of like it's a bit of a mess at the moment with Arsenal. You know, we lost to Newcastle last week. We drew Liverpool. We lost to Bournemouth. So 3 games now we've gone without a win. It's been 5 games, 6 Premier League games without keeping a clean sheet now as well. And last season we had the best defense in the Premier League last season. So it's kind of like our defense is declining as well. So coming into this game as well, it's like away at you guys. You know, I said about the awful European away record that Arsenal, we just struggle when we go to these types of away teams. You know, it's Inter. You know, you're the Italian champions. You know, you got a very elite level manager in Inzaghi, and the players that you have, some of Bastoni, Di Marco, Barella in the midfield, Chanaloglu again. He's rated very highly baller, and then that attack of Latoro and Thuram. We're coming into this game fearing that we don't see anything less than a draw, really, in terms of either an L or a draw. Like, I just don't, and I hate to be negative, but the way we've been playing, going away to you guys, like the hostile atmosphere, I don't see anything less than either a draw or an L, bro. Like, real talk. And the way how you played against Man City this season as well, and how solid your defensive. We created nothing against Newcastle. We had 1 shot on target. And that was Newcastle, with all due respect to them. How's it going to be like when we play against your defense and how well established and how solid your defense is as well, and how good your defensive record is as well. It's like, so I hate to sound negative for my team, but I'm just being realistic, bro. This game would be, I think Arsenal fans can agree as well, this is probably going to be the toughest game we're going to have this season, in terms of playing away to you guys.
Well, thank you for the kind words and compliments. But at the end of the day, it's still 90 minutes plus in Europe. Anything can happen. You guys will need to take your chances. I think that you guys will need to, look up in midfield, play your passes directly. I'm not too sure who is going to be able to grab the winner for you guys. I'm not too sure who's going to be able to do the business. I mean, I've been watching you guys a little bit this season. Martinelli's form has been concerning, to say the least. I'm not too sure who's going to start on the opposite wing for you, but I guess our biggest threat is going to come from Saka, maybe Kai Havertz, although I'm not too sure I rate him so much in the central position, trying to score goals as much as I'd rate him in more of a creative position, trying to connect deeper lying midfield roles to attacking roles. But that's a discussion for another time. I know it's a hot topic in your fan base as well. And yeah, Mr. Bear Rice as well, Jasmine Rice, Declan Rice, he's playing, right?
Yes, he should be in there. He's not been at his best this season as well, bro. Declan Rice not even been at his best, so he's been poor this season.
Something that I would have complimented you guys on, bar maybe the last few weeks, was your defense. You were going into this season looking like one of the most stable sides at the back. I mean, I'm a big fan of Gabriel and Saliba, but going into this game, I'm hoping that our boys can smell blood, because it doesn't matter how world-class a defensive line is. A defensive line that's mentally shaky is a defensive line that's mentally shaky. And we need to capitalize on your defensively, mentally shaky, your mentally defensively shaky line, because in practicality and physical form, it's a very, very good defensive line.
Yeah, no, absolutely spot on. As I said, like, last season, we had the best defensive record. We kept the most clean sheets. Our goalkeeper got the Golden Glove last season in the Premier League. So the defense, Gabriel and Saliba, for me, were 2 of the best pairings that we, in Europe last season. But in the recent games, in the recent run of form, we've been conceding many goals, not keeping clean sheets, and at times looking very shaky. We've had a few injuries, like about Ricardo Calaflori, who's at Bologna last season. He's came in. He's now got injured. But he's a quality player. I'm very happy with that signing, but he's came in. He's injured now. Obviously, we've got the likes of Timber, who can play left back, right back, centre back. So he's like a very versatile defender. Saliba and Gabriel, we know, is quality. But it's just for me, going into this game, what worries me is a right back up against your boy DiMarco, because I've seen how well DiMarco can play going forward, especially in terms of, I think I looked today, he's the player who's created the most chances out of any other player in Serie A. It just shows you how good the guy is going forward. And we could possibly, if Ben White's out injured, it'll be Thomas Partey at right back. Now, Partey is having a good season, but him at right back at times is going to be a nightmare because he always wants to invert the way how Arteta plays is inverted. But he played against even Shakhtar Donetsk, right, the other week, and he got out of position and he got roasted a few times as well against Shakhtar. So that's probably the biggest worry in terms of defensively is I think you guys can really exploit Thomas Partey. And of course, like your attack, man, like in La Toro, I understand like he didn't have the greatest starts, did he? But he slowly but surely find his feet again, this season with you guys.
That's Lautaro, man. He goes through patches. He's purpley, but at the end of the day, he's our guy. He's our captain. And on the grand stage, he's still one of the best in the world at the moment. So I'm hypercritical of him. Anyone that follows me on my channel knows that I'm the first one to get on his ass. And it takes a lot to impress me with Lautaro. But, I'll always back him 100%. Every Inter game, I want him to score more than I want anybody else to score. Because with a confident Lautaro means a successful Inter.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. I mean, the season he had last season, the goals that he scored, unbelievable, man. I think he's absolutely top quality striker. He's been at you guys many years as well now. I'm pretty sure. So he stayed. I think he signed a new contract. Was it last season as well?
Yeah, so he came to us in 2018, I'm going to say 17, 18 or 18, 19. Played one season under Luciano Spalletti and then 2 seasons straight under Antonio Conte. He also did sign a new contract at the end of last season. He's our highest earner. He's on 10 million a season.
There we go. Look, in terms of how you guys are going to approach this game, in terms of like lineup wise, I'm not too sure about your injury news or anything like that. But what did you see Inzaghi in terms of team selection, go with against us?
So we expected him to rotate midweek against Venezia, where we basically just won. Sorry, on the weekend that just passed against Venezia, where we won 1-0. It was pretty controversial. We weren't good at all. In fact, we were very, very poor. And we didn't expect him to rotate anywhere near as much as he did with that. He played a full strength side. The side that we thought that he'd line up with against you guys, he played against Venezia. So if nobody was injured, everybody's recovered well. The only player that's not available for us is Carlos Augusto, who is our makeshift /substitute for Federico Di Marco. Very good player, a sort of player that would give you guys a hell of a bad time for the last 20 minutes. So at the end of the day, if there's one little inside knowledge I'll give you, if you can wear out Federico Di Marco in this game, you virtually have the left-hand side to yourself, bar Alessandro Bastoni, obviously. But at the end of the day, Carlos Augusto not being available means that Federico Di Marco needs to have 90 minutes of legs in this game. How we approach this game, we'll approach it in our usual manner. We'll be... Oh, I've lost him again. You there? I still got you?
Yeah. You can hear me all good? I'm here.
Yeah. What was the last thing you heard? Because I lost you for a bit.
You talking about if Di Marco playing a full 90 minutes, and you said a little insider if we can wear down the left-hand side.
Yeah. If you can wear down the left-hand side because there's no Carlos Augusto to substitute Di Marco, he needs 90 minutes. Well, we need 90 minutes of Di Marco. And, without a fit Di Marco, Bastoni will function limitedly as well. So if you can wear that side down, you can really wear us down a little bit. Other than that, we'll approach the game very progressively, very quickly. Chananolu will pick the ball up deep and pass it forward very quickly. Expect Barella to give you absolutely a nightmare of a time, especially around the left-hand side of your box, our side of the right. And Lautaro Martinez only needs one chance, but sometimes he requires 4. Thuram, I don't back him to score in the big games. He's not a big game player just yet. Will he ever be a big game player? I'm not too sure for Inter. He scored some critical goals in like Italian league games, but until he can show us what he can really do on the big stage, I can't be 100% sold on him just yet. Other than that, we're fit and we're hungry. I think that we can get the job done, man. I expect Inter to score at least once at the Sun Siro. It can't be a goalless draw, and we definitely can't concede that you guys the win. So my prediction, I'm going to go 2-1. A goal for Lautaro, a penalty for Hakan, because you guys will be reckless in the box as well. We just love to build possession, and we're Italian, man. We're dirty. We're filthy as hell. We'll fall, we'll dive, we'll scratch, we'll claw, whatever we need to do, and we'll surround the referee because it's all part of the game, and we'll get that penalty, and Hakan will score it. So I'm going to go 2-1 for us, and goal for you guys for. I'm not too sure. Let's see if I can predict that as well. I'm going to go for Saka to score.
Saka to score. Look, for me, I think, yeah, that's fair. But I'm probably going to go with, I said it yesterday, I hate to be negative and not going with my team to win, but I'm going to go with a draw as well, I think. I think the only way I see us scoring against you guys is probably from my set piece or something, bro. Real talk. Of course, like, we get named Set Piece FC last season because, we have this guy called Nicholas Jova. In terms of corners and free kicks, we have the highest team in Europe last season. So, yeah, if you can nullify it, because I remember when we played Porto away, right? And what they did was they nullified our set pieces. So we had nothing against them. I think if you guys can do the same, and I know that's just, defense that you have, Bastoni, I think Cherby as well. These defenders, I think, and as a whole team, as a collective, when it comes to defending us, I think you guys could maybe suss that out. But that's what Porto did, and then we struggled to create anything against them because, he's going, as I said, like going away to you guys. That's the only way I see us really getting a goal is maybe from a penalty, set piece, or anything like that. Because as you said, I think you're gonna dominate in terms of having the more chances, creating the more chances from us. Because it's at San Siro, you are a very good side as well. So yeah, I'm gonna say 1-1 draw. I think both teams score, but yeah, we'll take the point and obviously. We'll move on. But listen, bro, it's gonna be an interesting game tomorrow, of course. Just before we go, my friends, if you want to shout out your channel and where people can find you as well, Anthony, on social media, bro.
Bro, thanks for that. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. You can find me on 2 platforms. The first one is Inter Worldwide, exactly what it sounds like, INTER Worldwide, on YouTube mostly and Twitter, but just mostly for the YouTube content. And I might as well just shout it out here now. I've also, in case you didn't like me already going into this game, I've also been a Manchester United fan for 26 years because that was the first jersey I ever owned. I owned a Manchester United. I owned a Manchester United jersey before I owned an Inter jersey, man. Like I said, being in Australia, you had avenues to support football. 1, you watched the Premier League on TV, or 2, you had a socio-cultural route to the game. We have got a lot of socio-cultural roots in Australia, from Italians, Greek, Portuguese, Serbians, Croatians. We're very lucky in that sense as well. We're very multicultural over here. But yeah, I had a 1999 Sharp jersey with Andy Cole on the back before I had any Inter jersey. So I do have a second channel as well that I literally just started a few weeks ago. It's just called Priv. Yeah, it is just called Priv FC. PR!V FC, and I just give my real thoughts on the shit show that's going on at Old Trafford. But I'm here for the pain, man, because I love to call it like it is. So please subscribe to me, anybody that feels like subscribing to yet another content creator.
Guys, listen, as I said earlier, his title will be his channel will be in the title, maybe in the description as well. Make sure you're going over there, drop in my guy a sub. Really appreciate your time today, man. Coming on the channel. Listen, may the best team win, obviously, for Wednesday. Listen, and I wish you luck for the rest of the season, apart from obviously Wednesday, my guy. But yeah, thanks everyone who tuned in today. Make sure you hit like buttons up, subscribe to the channel if you are new as well, and it's gonna be a massive game on Wednesday. And we're out of here.
Ciao.